right. Hey guys. If you've stumbled on the channel, then don't forget to comment and subscribe. I really need those exposure bucks, please. Like, please. Well, you all know what you're here for, and you wanted to see me how I EQ and compress and whatever I've done on the track. And then let me tell you something. Stuff that I may have done may have been wrong or right, but it made the process and it got on to Random Soul Recordings, which is a really cool label. And I got a really cool story about this because this track was made about January of 2022, start of you know getting the New Year's popped off and whatnot, and yeah, and Core is on the track again, and I continue to work with him, and we're ready to probably do a third track together. But we really seem to have a great relationship and just banging out great tunes. And for these guys from Sydney, Australia, to sign my record, I also had Mark Catterall. Hope I'm saying his name right. That was also interested in the record. I had sent a demo to him first, and then and then the Random Soul guys have got back to me the next day, which was really a nail biter to choose which label I wanted to go with, and I chose them mainly because they were going to remix the record. Mark wasn't going to say that he was going to remix the record, but he has a really good label, and yeah, I hope some of the house heads out there don't say that I'm a big idiot for my decision, but you know, I really think these guys, I love playing their tracks, I love their music, and I play both guys' tracks. I play I play Random Souls tracks and also Mark's tracks, and they're both great tracks. But yeah, let's just get into like the meat potatoes of what actually goes on with everything. We can move this window to the side. I don't really think I have much more to say. It's like 1:30 a.m. in the morning, and I'm ready to hop a flight really early. Well, 8 o'clock, but I got to leave the house by 6, so I'm going to try to get this video done as soon as possible. And yeah, and I'll also have like a thing on there with where to get the record. And please, I would love the support of the pre-order, because the Random Soul guys also made a really cool remix of the track that I've started to play out a bit. But yeah, let's go. I guess the other story I was going to say about this track too is that it also got remastered before. It was mastered by Tom Frampton, and then the guys wanted to do their own little touch on it. And it was going to get a stem master, which I was really, really into. But I was told by the mastering engineer what I had sent for the stem master just sound too different to the mix, because I kind of do, I guess, a subtle master beforehand, as I'm going to show you, because I put everything through summing, the eight channels, and then back into a stereo mix into the X4 Apollo. But it is going through the SSL summing there that I have a little box, just some VCAs. So yeah, this is just like the stereo print of the club mix. And here I'm just basically cutting off 200 hertz of any low end kind of stereo frequency that's coming through the track, and then we're just using like a we're just using a preset of Safara that's giving like a 3D of it, and then some saturation to kind of turn up the buzz, basically the volume to make it a little louder. And I've turned the sensitivity down, bass room, just to correct how I've mixed the track because low end is probably the hardest thing to correct, and this is not necessarily the most properly built studio, but still is great for what it is. You know, I've put mirrors in all my reflection areas, but in general, I really gotta pick a different word to say, but in general. But I've made bass traps. They're definitely not thick enough for what they are, but this plugin basically helps me crank out tracks a lot more faster. Does kind of cloud things a bit, but, you know, it is what it is. And I just use it because it helps, and you can kind of make it copy other tracks. You can make it copy other frequencies at base of other tracks. So, and then I have mix room just kind of correcting more. If you kind of like listen, this is kind of like, it does help a lot with it. Yeah, it does kind of help a lot. So you can, this is like it disabled with everything. So, right. So, mind you, if you are wearing headphones, you're not going to really hear the difference. If you're sitting in your studio, this is probably a better video to watch in your studio. But if you just kind of see what I've done with the print here I go. So it's really just a subtle touch of just kind of helping out the low end to pound a little more. You kind of do lose a little bit of some, I feel like, information, like possibly some verb that could be over there. Maybe I do cut some frequencies out in the verb there, but I'll probably see later on once we get a little deeper into the video. This really changes it up here too. The vocals start to come out a lot more in the width of a 3D mix. Yeah, you can just feel there's more life to it, and it just like you can feel like there's a chisel of the vocal in the mix when that's added in. And then we have magma, which is just like a saturator. I really don't know what it's modeled after or any console that it's modeled after, but yeah, here it is. And really, it's just like pushing things to make it louder. What do I got here? Like, as you can, like, if you look up at my screen here in Pro Tools over here, I'm not really like distorting anything or doing some kind of harmonic distortion per se. I have the SSL very low in volume, and then I'm boosting up some saturation here to just colorate it, give it a little more color, and just raise the volume up, and then mastering will turn it up more. And then we have like the bass room that's added. When we're together, cruising through the skyline. As you can kind of hear, like I've definitely missed like a lot of body within the mix, and you know, that's just added more, I guess, more sub to it in the right form than here. And you can tell like the vocals just come out more with mix room, and then yeah. So we'll mute this, and then we'll start looking at what I'm doing to the channels. So I just have like an insert on 1 and 2, which everyone really knows. And a lot of the time now, what I'm doing is I'm basically just bypassing my pull tech now, and audio is just running through it because there's tubes in it, and it's just kind of per se given a color to what's going on. But here in this track, since I mixed it basically a year ago, it's funny though, the more you mix, the less you start doing. It's funny. But I just boost this up by 2, 800 kilohertz, you can see here, and basically cutting it around 1 to 2 or so, and then have it at the here in the middle. It's at like 2 dB, and been boosting it at 2 dB at 3K. Yeah, boosting at 3K, and then cutting it at 20, I think. Yeah. So basically, it's just kind of just kind of like I guess beefing up a little more of like some I guess high mids or low mids or like the mids a little within like the kick, the snare, the clap. Like you can even just hear it. What's happening to it here. I'll like disable it in a second. So, like that's without it. This is with it. And it's really just giving more body. Yeah, that's all that's really doing there. And then as we go into the kick, I'm just taking out 135 hertz, and I have like it. This is side chaining with the bass, so like this frequency is not fighting whenever the kick's hitting and the bass and whatnot. You can even kind of really witness it'll move when I'm doing it. Gotta solo enable. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Yeah, you can kind of just see that every time the bass hits, it's not competing with the kick, and it's doing the same on the bass channel, and I'll pull that up after. But there is more going on here because I usually, before I use a thing called Fusser, and it's not taking up as much CPU and everything. Starts the sample rate, just not the sample rate, but it's like the samples. It's like how a camera takes pictures, but in audio or whatever. But like everything starts to lag when I start to do like a side chain with Fab Filter when there's other plugins on the channel. So I basically have to commit, and I'm pretty sure I know what I did on this channel. All I did was just boost the kick at 100 hertz, and then probably 3K, around 1 to 5K. I picked somewhere around there, and just boost that. And they're all with bell curves. And then with Fab Filter, I've taken out stuff. But I usually like to use like UAD emulations and use analog emulations to boost things. And then Fab Filter, I do all the cutting. I think this is a little overkill, but it is what it is. I think it's a great track, and I play the track anyways. It's just funny to look at these mixes as time goes along. But yeah, and then I use the saturator on it, and then we have a clap here. Nothing fancy really. And yeah, just knocking things at 200 hertz and giving it a little hump, so there's the low mids are living within the clap, so it has a little more attack. LA2A, just some gain reduction. And really, it's like it just gives it more, I guess, a little more volume. Like I'm not boosting any gain in it. It's just peak reduction, right? So it's just starting to compress it. Right, and it's just kind of tickling it a bit. And I'm probably doing the same with these other claps. Guess didn't do any subtractive mixing with it, but here. Just using an LA2A, excuse me. And then, oh, interesting. And then I pitched the clap down a bit, the off time one. I guess I don't know why I did that, but I guess I wanted to giving it more thump in the clap, I guess. Which I don't know if it really did that. Interesting choice. Very. It also makes it dark, right? And just interesting. Yeah, okay. I feel like I know why I did it. It's just now it gives it more character because it's dark and the clap's bright, so almost let's just say it's giving it its ear candy for that. It's funny that I didn't do it with this, but who knows? I don't think, unless there's a commit, a CA on it or whatever, or whatever. Pro Tools is a thing where it says CCM. So, or I can't even see it, CM. So it probably means I committed that 3 times or whatever. Doesn't look like I did do any committing to these tracks or whatever. But yeah, let's move on to the hi-hat, which is like routed on channel 3 now. All of the mono stuff is channel 1 and 2. And we have just subtracting the hi-hat because the hi-hat's already just a high frequency and then taking out low and grumble that shouldn't be there. Let's see. Why am I not seeing it? Interesting. Okay. It's probably weird. Yeah, so there's just some low end there that's not really necessary. Probably should have maybe sniffed up a little more, but there's kind of no need because you got to really think about it. Like if you had like a band playing, you can't really just EQ stuff that crazy. You really want to kind of have the bleed to kind of help things out a bit. And then just a crash here. This seems a little crazy, but let's see. No. All right. Sure. I think it's too many subtractive EQs, but, it's funny that I'm just looking at this track like this. Snare. I don't know why I'm doing that, but I guess there's just something that in the snare, it's just a mid-side EQ or whatever, or something like that. Yeah. Or sorry, mid EQs like mono or whatever. Interesting. Okay. And then looks like forget it. I don't know, something like maybe 3 Here it's 300 between I don't know, maybe 4 or something. Who knows? I don't know the number what would be in between here, but and then boosting it, just 2 points, and just using my ears here and just having the EQ in. It looks like, and I'm giving it a bell curve because this is all hooked into here. That's it, and this is for like the snare. What else? Looks like I did not move anything else, so I feel like I did some EQ work. Interesting. Okay, so it's just like gave it no really high-end boost, just kind of I was cool with it. And like really when I'm mixing, everything's up. I'm not mixing and soloing things. Like that's the thing with mixing is that you got to have the loop going and just kind of boosting EQs up and down and seeing what's working, right? And like this is kind of the reason why I'm going, oh, that's a weird decision. That's a weird decision. And it's mainly because I'm making the decisions when all the volumes, everything's going, right? And because you got to make everything just blend together to make a perfect picture of the song, right? De-essing, really close to almost nuking it, really, but halfway, and just it's given a crack. And like from what's going on, it's a lot. Like the input 6, tax 7, releases like kind of in between. You can see the number between 5 and 6. The output's between 5 and 6, and it's really just going nuts on the compression. I find I really have to compress my snares a lot to make them pop out of the mix because it's like the snare's shit a lot of the time if it's not. When I just like using like this preset, the distressor is just a great compressor to use, and I kind of saw in school like the teachers that did all the rock bands were always putting like distressors on snares or either LA2As, but the distressor just sounds great on vocals too, which I usually don't use it on vocals. I usually like using the LA2A a lot. Simple compressors, make things simple. And then here we just got like a pitch with some parts of the snare, more here with like the climax. As it's kind of, oh God. Yeah, see? That's the gain, but yeah, there you go. Yeah, and then just to trim because like it's just getting annoying with just the snare going like this, and it's like there's no dynamic of it. The hits like they're not lighter and they're not lighter and heavier at times, so it's like the only way to kind of give it dynamic is just with volume. Because yeah, it just gets so annoying when you're doing these build-ups and it's just a bunch of snares lined up. Yeah. And then here we just have like the percuss. Let's see, it's probably like the claves or whatever. Yeah. Are they called claves? I don't remember. Something like that. It don't really seem like I did much. Either I might have EQ'd it and let's see. No. And this is from a plugin called Drum Monkey, and then I dropped my own samples in the drum machine because it's really quick. And it also just gives a lot of swing. Yeah. And then we have like a ride. Really simple. Just putting it there. I'm surprised. Like I must have done stuff to these channels, but it's showing that I'm not. Then, excuse me, shakers. I honestly think those other channels I really did do stuff, but yeah. You can even just hear when you're doing subtractive EQ that those shakers come out a little more of the mix. Like listen, and you'll see it's disabled and then enabled if you look at my mouse here. 1 second. you kind of hear like it gets a little more high, and it's interesting what subtractive mixing does. And it's basically because you're making room for something else, right? It's just interesting coming back and making these videos because I kind of get to learn why I did the decisions, because I feel like when I make into decisions when I'm mixing, I don't know why I'm doing them. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. It's like it's just very automatic when I'm doing them, and it's because I feel like I'm using the same samples or something, and then it's like, okay, I know how to EQ this sample. Or it's just like, yeah, it's like the same drum hits I'm using. So it's like, okay, whatever. Some drum loops just for swing, like 3 different ones. So it's pretty boring without them. Really gives it more meat and potatoes. Right? Other loop. And they're really like gain stage down and just like kind of sitting in the background, kind of just like extra percussions of the orchestra of the song, right? Right, and there's also like kicks in it too, so like some of those contributing, you can even just hear some of that stuff there, so it's kind of just joining the kick and being a little off-timed with it or whatever, and you know, because it's got its own swing to it, you know, and it's just a cool rhythm, right? Because then it's just all stagnant with all the drums by itself. Drum loops are just, I find great. I am doing more or less of them. Like, I almost think 3 loops is a bit of an overkill, but I think 2 to 1 are great to use. I just find I'm just using less and less, and I don't know if it's because I'm starting to like, my sound's starting to evolve a little more to tech house a bit. Like, I do have like a lot of house piano stuff left, and I'm trying to get like some stuff done with core, but feel like I'm like going this tech house route a bit / minimal. I'm really trying to touch minimal, but it's like the tracks become tech house. Enough of that. I mean, I am letting you in with a little more of a secret, but here, now we have the drums by themselves, and we are just doing like a New York compression thing, and just EQing some junk out, and then just adding a bus compression API. And it's just adding a little more thump, bump, bump. And then we get into the bass, right? I probably use like Surim or something to make this bass. And there's probably, I think it's like a preset from some guy, I don't remember the guy's name, but it's a preset, and it's that guy's actually like a kind of makes like this progressive like tech house, like very like banger tech house. And it's funny how this song's just very chill and sexy, right? But yeah, he had a cool preset in there. And yeah, I'm actually on the same label as him, because it's like, what is it? He's on, oh God, UFO Recordings. I think they've switched their name and stuff, but yeah, I was on the same label with him at one point, and I still have my music with them, or a couple of my tracks. But yeah, enough of that. One knob, which I do not use anymore because the one knob just has a sound that's going like, if you kind of look, there's a spray paint can, like kind of like a watering spray paint can on this here. It looks like it's a water. Oh no, it's like one of those old school water pumps. But like, yeah, there's just this pumping sound that's if you like, I don't want to do it. Oh God, I don't want to do it now. But like, when everything's like off and I turn up the volume on my monitor ST, I can hear like this kind of shh. So I wasn't liking that because it's leaving like some artifacts in the recording. So it's like, I just don't want certain artifacts there, because all the plugins are already adding some fake analog sounds probably, and it's just gets annoying, and sometimes it starts getting caught up, and even like the box is having its own noise, but it gets turned down, and then I raise the volume up, and you're not really hearing that noise floor. But yeah, back to this. The bass here, just really taking stuff off here and then boosting a little. I'm not sure what I did here. I might have used like a Neve and busted up 60 hertz or something. And then here I'm just kind of taking out the low end between 200 hertz, so there's just no stereo image within the low end here. And then here I'm kind of like, even though it's pan mono, I'm kind of pumping up a little like per se mid, giving it width. It's probably not going to show up, but it does make a difference though. I don't know. I've been doing it. Probably gives it a little phase issue. But I personally just feel it gives it a little more movement. I don't know if it's because I'm looking at that image there, but like I'm not looking at it, but I'm like subtly listening to it. But I feel it just gives the bass like this kind of little more movement and something. It's contributing something different between the kick and stuff. Yeah. And then we have just like the pumper on the keyboard. Like this is all like my sidechain stuff. Where are we at in minutes? We look like we're making some good time. Good. But here I got the pumper on again. And yeah, and you can see that sidechain there. And this is going to here. But I'll explain that after. But yeah, the keyboard here has just got the sidechain pumper. Or it's the keyboard, sorry. Subtractive EQ, the manually, and you can see that I'm kind of just, looks like I'm boosting things at 6K, so you can kind of just hear it a little more. Just doing some boosting with the analog equipment, and not even really boosting it that much, as you can see. It looks like I'm, no, I'm not subtracting. Oh God, I guess I would be. Yeah, sorry, I am. This is at boosting. Oh God, I am boosting quite a lot. Never mind. Yeah, it's just so small from what it is, but it looks like I'm boosting 580 hertz, and then 5K here. Yeah, just not too much going on, and then we're just compressing a little bit with the Fairchild. Great compressor, just sound. Looks like I'm just using it. The needle's barely moving, but I think it's more just tonality, really. Yeah, it's not really doing much. It's like tonality, and there's tubes in this, and like this thing in real life is, I don't know, worth like $50,000 or something like that. Let's put my little crummy plug-in M1 Korg into it. It's amazing, right? Everything's fake nowadays. Everything's fake. Then we have like the oral exciter. I don't know what it does, but it just makes it brighter. You can just hear that it's just so fucking dark. And then it's just bright like Mr. Clean. Right? If you even check this out, undo it. Just gives life to it. Like it's just boom, right? Rather than I don't know. It just like, it's crazy what that plugin does, and I just continue to use it because it just does no wrong. It lights things up. One knob again, and this is probably like on the piano I would take it. Yeah, just polishing things out, subtractive mixing. Good old M1. Yeah, just boosting things here. I don't need to explain. You can take a look. Whatever. Fairchild on it. So it's like I'm almost doing the same shit. The compressor's taking a little more, or doing a little more love, and just, I guess, just the quiet parts are getting louder as it's getting sidechained. So it's just making love to the audio. Oral exciter. It is really, it's crazy what that does. Like, you know, and like I'm already like that, like everything's, I mix everything first with nothing, just EQ, but I don't have anything like crazy EQ. It's just like I have things on their low pass filters and high pass filters if needed. High pass filters and then some low pass filters if needed. And just kind of playing with the volumes. And once that's adjusted, I start to EQ first and then compress and then start adding like saturators and certain things for more characteristics. But yeah, that's the piano. And then I'm adding just some just width, right? Again, it basically just makes it a little more wider. Not going too crazy with it. Probably should have. And just the one knob. This is probably just for like really cool effects. See? It's just a filter, just giving a really cool effect, and I just love the way it sounds so lush on pianos. And it's like, filters are great. It's like they remind me of sunrises when you're listening to them. And yeah, kind of like this. Hi, this is Barely White reporting. I'm here to drive this plane and land it for you. Enjoy the ride. Whatever. Then just some trim. I find trim is good to use. See, doing automation with Pro Tools, not cool when you're doing it with the faders. So it's best to just kind of add like a trim and then start drawing it in, because like you're mixing everything, all the tracks at the noisiest part, and then it's like, oh great, now I gotta automate this. But you start automating faders, it's like in Pro Tools, it starts getting very annoying. So the best thing to do is just draw it in. And, you know, sometimes I could just touch the screen and just automate that way, but I really just draw it in a lot of the time. I haven't updated my Pro Tools, so possibly maybe there's a better system with that, but I doubt they fix some of the dumb shit. It's probably why I should switch to Ableton or Live. Hey, Babeth. That's so bad. Hey, Babeth. I can't even do it. Fuck it. Here's just the melody. And it's really just that cool West Coast Dr. Dre synth sound, maybe like Herbie Hancock. Yeah, and just kind of just giving it like a nice 3K hump, so it's just more audible in the mix. Right? It's just that lead's just fighting for its space more and having that, and just put an 1176 compressor on, and I don't know what that's doing, but as far as it is just color, and you're only gonna hear, because like there's not a lot of compression going on. It's like not even moving. I don't know why. As far as it is, it's color. So you're on your monitors, you'll hear it. So yeah, I guess plugins really do stuff, even though they're just fake. And then just strings, really nothing fancy. Little, I guess, crescendo, you can say. This is crescendo when volume's going up, or fading in. And that's the Tool Room plugin. the background that's on the master. Yeah, and just fighting, subtractive mixing, and giving its room. Then we just have like the reverse reverb bass here. Always a cool effect. Right? Risers. And really just the risers are just getting EQ'd. The low end grumble so it doesn't interfere. Yeah. And then like obviously the meat and potatoes, like the vocals. My God. Oh yeah. Let's just like solo it because like vocals sound awesome. Just a cappella by himself.
Kiss me like it's going out of style. Kiss me. Promise me.
He's really just Kor's just really just doing some cool octaves, right? He's just got like a really cool voice, like his lows, everything is just. He's just got like this polished voice when he sings, and I swear when it comes to just comping vocals, it is the easiest thing to do because he's so good. I've done session with singers where it's like a nightmare to comp them, tune them. Just had a session Friday with a friend, and the vocalist was amazing. It was like there was no work to even do with Melodyne. It was like I was just going like this, like just. It was like everything was in key of where it was supposed to be. I probably moved like one note down. I was like that's not the right note, and that was it. But everything else, it was like flawless. Did some comps, but like it was amazing. Holy crap. But that's what happens when you work with people that are like actual singers that like they're amazing and like you really don't have to do work on them at all. And like even when you're using Melodyne, it's like it's working, but it's like it's not working. Like it's almost like it's doing nothing to their voice really, because they're that good. Because Melodyne is pretty like authentic, I find, compared to the other tuning company. And it's funny, I remember they were having a conversation. I forgot what the other tuning company is called, but like I remember even at school, Bob Ezrin and Garth Richardson would argue which was better, either Melodyne or the other tuning plugin. And I think Garth liked using the other tuning plugin, where Bob liked using Melodyne, and I like using Melodyne in general because it just sounds way better. The other one's just too processed and doesn't make like a vocalist sound like they're real. And besides, like this music just has soul to it, right? So you need to like have a lot of you need to keep the authenticity to it to percentage, and at the same time it doesn't need to, right? But you want to keep everything you got. Okay, talking too much. But yeah, here, just not too much subtractive mixing, because the microphone that I'm using is a great microphone. It's a clone of a U87. So it's really not that much work. It's called a JZ 2-hole or black hole. That's what it was. The 2-holer. I like 2 holes. And then we're just using like a Neve. Like, come on. Neves are great. And just boosting the high end.
Kiss me like it's going out of style. Kiss me. Promise me.
Let's just, you can even just, oh God. Let's just use solo 1.
Kiss me like it's going out of style.
Yeah, just boom.
Promise me that you stay for a while.
This part of the Neve, just this, I don't know where it's raising, either like maybe a 10K region or something, but like it's just a shelf. And it just sounds great. I just love using it. And then yeah, I'm just boosting 4 to 6, 4.8 or whatever, which is probably like 5K basically or whatever, close to it. Just it's the bell and nothing going on here. And yeah, I think it's just going the same down the line for most of it, and then it's double I think got printed. So this is just like another layer that's just made. Yeah, it's just like a low double, really, just to give more like life. And I'm pretty sure this was like printed. And then I have like the Sheps plugin going, saturating, 2 de-essers, and then effect compressor, I'd say a bit of compression going on, and then slow attack, fast release, and it's probably the same going on for all the rest of it. And then we're just using like an LA2A, older one. And it's really doing not that much. It's just tickling, and it's just kind of equaling out to the other compressor. And I'm sure that I recorded him with some compression on the way in with most likely an SSL preamp. I don't know, maybe a Helios. I love using the SSL preamp usually, but it might have been a Helios. I don't know. And then, and then if we go down to just more effects, everything is pretty much probably done the same because there's a lot of vocals. Like, look, there's a lot of tracking we did. It was probably a late night session. We spent a lot of time on it, and then basically here, just taking his ad libs, and printing them into effects. And ping-ponging. So it's just giving a lot of cool stuff. And then I'm using this reverb here really draws a nice picture for his vocal too. This is like the Motown Hitsville reverb, and what I'm doing with it, as he's singing, I'm making the reverb go mono, and then when like his other pans come in, they get stereo. So like, you can even see like the automation being done, like it's mono right now, and then as soon as like more of his like ad-libs come in or harmonies, everything gets panned to stereo with the reverb. Just gives it a really cool effect. I'm trying to just really get to a place. There's too much shit going on. Fuck. Here, let's see. That's the hook? For fuck's sakes. This is a verse. Here. No. I mean, it's the same verse, but here we go. So you really hear everything open up at this point. So yeah, it helps, and you can even see the plugin just working out here as it goes like mono to stereo, because like his basically his harmony fills their octaves, but like. See? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of automation. Well, whatever. You can just see like I'm going for mono because it's like it's his center, and it just sounds great with it, and just like it's great. It's from wide, small, like his vocal really just carries everything. And then I'm just EQing out some garbage of the verb and just stuff that just shouldn't exist. Probably should cut off some high end too, because I heard like you're cutting high end out of verb. It doesn't make things as your mixes as dark and all this other stuff, right? We just have like the Korg delay, right? And side chaining. Side chaining. So every time like his vocal hits, it's basically. You can just hear the verb come right in your face more, and every time he talks, it's like it's pulling, equaling things out, compressing, as what a compressor should do. And then just a vocal push. Saturating the shit out of his vocal. and then I'm using something making his vocal more stereo with AMS. These are, I think AMS was like part of Neve at one point or whatever, or like AMS was Neve. I don't remember all the story behind it, but cool plugin. It's great. I like using it. I use it. It's cool. So just some reverb on the keyboard. This is just some stock U-Wave D plugin. Comes with like your cool satellite box that you buy that's costs a lot of money. It's cool, but you get this free with it. It's great. And then just doing the same thing with it, just putting these 1176 Pro Tools clones that come, the stock plugin that comes with Pro Tools, and just side chaining them. Pure plate for another keyboard. All these have different reverbs, but all these are hitting at different times. Some delay, probably for the keyboard, or it's most likely for those hits. This just, or is it staccato? I don't know. Just like the hits that are coming with the piano. My music terms just aren't the greatest, but whatever. Made a great song, right? Here, over here. Right here. Oh, Christ. Guess we're getting tired. Gonna catch a flight soon. Yeah, you can harsh like hear it. Cool. But yeah, you see, there's a lot of stuff going on. This took a lot of time. This is like a full-out big production. And then this is the melody verb, just using like the Galaxy tape echo. The woo woo woo, the siren. Where is it? Over here. And it really helps to just make it cool, right? That's interesting. So what looks like what I did, I added an echo on one side, and then I added a tape echo on the other side. So it's like there's two different things going on with it. Interesting. I guess just to really just make it stick out and do its own thing. Really cool. Don't know why I made that decision, but I think that's cool. And then just adding delay. The piano, studio verb, so stock Pro Tools plugin, and like we're doing the sidechain compression, taking out some stuff that doesn't belong in the EQ. It looks like I did the same thing with the piano, but on the right side, it's like I added a really cool little plate. Like this reverb has like a lot of color to it. Let's like hear the difference with it. It's interesting that it's an interesting choice. No, it's for the piano, definitely. It's labeled piano, you dinkwad. Let's see. There you go. Good enough. Didn't have to find it. So, really, they're both like verbs, I guess, because like keyboard space, I would say it's like a verb. Or like an echo. I don't know. I don't know what it does. It's like giving it just the keyboard space. But just cool. But yeah, I I think that's it for the video. Please get yourself a copy of the record. The Random Soul guys did a really cool remix, and you should get a copy. All my DJ friends out there, please get a copy, and please subscribe to the channel. I really like my exposure bucks, please. But, yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, just, I can't, gonna probably be playing it at Decino Pacha, the Random Souls remix and stuff like that. But yeah, please get yourself a copy, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.